assets, they will revert back into the behavioral economics of the drugs. The founders follow the treatment protocol. What are the new directions of the City Anti-Drug Abuse Councils? Well, right now, because the local government units are mandated, are directed by 9165 to appropriate substantial portion in preventive educational programs, we visited the portal of the Department of Education and found very few lang po talaga ang laman doon that would give education, drug education, to manage drug abuse. So that's why we conducted a right shop to improve or enhance the competence of the competencies in the Department of Education. In partnership with them because they're also mandated to strengthen their national drug education program. That's why they're there. So we have 35 competencies in formal education that now teaches coping responses, physiology, pharmacology, treatment and management, relapse prevention, and the role of the community on how it can provide a support system in recovery. That is spiraled from grade 4 to grade 12. And then also 15 competencies in the alternative learning systems. And now we are finalizing that monitoring tool for the DepEd. This is the beauty of the Anti-Drug Abuse Council because the principals are supposed to sit as member of the council. And so what we did was we called all the principals all over the city and talked to them and told them that since you are the most equipped in the group, the barangay captain, the SK, the committee on peace and order, and the school's principal, sabi namin, where are the minutes of your meetings? Because they have a DepEd order coming from their secretary saying, you should coordinate, principal coordinate with your punong barangay to strengthen or revitalize the Anti-Drug Abuse Council. But they did not heed hindi sila takot sa Secretary of Education. They're not afraid of the Secretary of Education. They're more afraid of the superintendent because they can be transferred elsewhere if they do not follow instruction. So we learned the ropes. Sabi namin, okay, since that's, in that case, therefore, how many principals do we have all over Davao City? There's only very few, no? And so during the right shop of enhancement of the content of the curriculum of the DepEd, we found out that all DepEd teaching personnel are required to conduct community involvement as a requirement for the RPCR. So sabi namin, what have you been doing in community involvement? And then, yes sir, we really need your help. And then we asked the CADAC to, what do we do in the community since you're in community rehabilitation? I said, what have you done? What have you been doing in your community involvement? That they will not approve your programs anymore or your proposals anymore. Sabi niya, sir, wala na akong tumubo na puno because they've been in tree planting. And no tree, wala akong punong tumubo. Wow, I think that's good for us. Why? Because now the city came up with a resolution encouraging all 7,000 DepEd teaching personnel to be involved in the Anti-Drug Abuse Councils. So it's a fair game. Sabi nila, well, right now we will not be making walis na. Ang ginagawa naman teacher kasi nagwawalis lang sa community. At nagpupulot ko, so why should, that's not community development. You leave that to Centro or to DPWH. Sabi naman, real community development is really bringing services to our people. And they said, yes, I think we agree with you. And so that's why now we are coming up with that monitoring tool and there will be involvement of these teachers, especially in the utilization of the enhanced curriculum of the DepEd for drug. Aside from having our new allies among the teachers, we are also institutionalizing the drug-free workplace. We have been asking the barangay captains to provide fund for the community. And it's been very difficult for them. Actually, the instruction have been there since 1998. And in the Dangerous Drugs Act na implementing rules and regulations was in 2003. Andun na yung BADAC na supposed to be mag-appropriate siya ng substantial portion. But nothing happened. In other words, even if it was already reinforced by the circular in the ALG, sabi ni ALG, yung failure to comply, to put money or budget in your annual your yearly plan would be the election of GP or disapproval of your annual budget. Sabi ko, kailan ba yung issuance nila? 2004. Bakit kayo nakakatapos ng taon kung hindi wala naman kayong backup budget? See, walang ngipin, sabi namin, walang ngipin si DILG, cannot fight on the anti-revenue councils. So, right now, the new USEC is actually busy filing cases to our anti-revenue council. But anyway, we see how difficult it is for them to do the planning or to appropriate a substantial portion. That's why one of the provisions of 9165 also is the drug-free workplace. So we're going to institutionalize this in the city. We saw here an opportunity or resource in the drug-free workplace because the city now has an ordinance and all corporations with more than 10 employees is required to conduct random drug screening and comply by providing a drug program, having advocacy, education, and training. So we're seeing now that we can actually ask the corporations to help us in their barriers to adopt their own programs in the peripheries. Okay. So right now we're actually helping all the recovering people in the community organize themselves into an association and come up with their self-help groups. Because we cannot put, there's only how many in CADAC, like 10 of us, and there's 182 barangays. So we're encouraging them to come up with their self-help support groups with the following objectives, that they will continue to promote recovery, they will involve their families in the recovery, and they will facilitate for the needs, so they will be the ones asking the government for the government services, and to coordinate with agencies that will provide the services. So a master list now to the Department of Health through the Regional Health Information System is in the offing. We're hoping to converge the services of health and welfare and security. Salamat po sa inyong attention.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rivera. Okay, so that was all about CADAC, the City Anti-Drugs Abuse Council. We had also a chance to have a speaker from CADAC to speak about drug abuse to our students, and it was enlightening. And I hope that one of you would like to ask questions as to how CADAC conducts its programs, or how to approach or how to partner with CADAC. Anyone who likes to ask questions from the floor? Yes, sir, at the back. Microphone, please.
Dr. Mark Atman, sir. I am a jail inspector in Davao, actually, my question is about the programs of CADAC. I'd just like to relate that last May 10, we had a conference of all wardens in the Davao, starting from 9 to R. At Cagayan City, with our GPJFP, Jail Director Gracias Tapaya, in which one of the issues was raised. This is all about implementation of the plea bargaining of Section 5, violation of Article 165, which is what Judge Lawan said. The absenters are not yet ready for number of those who will be qualified for the In fact, happened si today na to, we have 156, 4.5 for bargaining. And that, would it be possible that under our program, the IWD program, Inmates Welfare Development Program, could be adopted or accredited, I mean, by the rehab centers. Because under Inmates Welfare Development Programs, nandiyan na lahat kasi sila. The program, recreation, sports activities, speech training with coordination with TESDA, para matulungan din sila na ma-release na nandiyan pa sa kanya na rehab centers. Because I believe we have the same programs also. So when question then said or suggestion, would it be possible in your office, through your office, we could have a random programming maybe of the judges, the BGMP, the rehab centers, and video officers. Thank you very much.
It's not a question, it's a statement.
Just to
Well, sir, I'll just add to that. Yung concept po for the detention centers and these facilities to become a learning environment has started with implemented in setting by the father. And then I think ngayon, ang modality is a method or an environment that promotes change in human behavior. So it's a treatment modality. So I think that would be, I think between the Department of Health and the ALG and the justice system to accredit the modalities of these detention facilities as an equivalent of treatment.
Okay. Okay na po, sir? Alright, okay. Judge Adlawan.
Parang sa akin yata ang question na ito.
Yes, Judge.
This is just to inform everybody that we already have come up with that idea during our consultation with the PDEA and the National Officers of PDEA and the DOH regarding on the matter on whether or not BGMP can be accredited as one of those. So instead of bringing our detainees to the rehabilitation center, we will just have to stay inside the jail for the period of time as embodied decision, and that will be counted as part of, meaning sentence has already been served. We are looking forward to that. But I have a different question, Mike. Now, has there been a consultation made by the CADAC itself on the stakeholders of the idea now of plea bargaining? You know, as I have seen it, I have already guessed it long time ago that the problem encountered now by the BGMP will be transferred to Dr. Culianes. I know that. And we in the judiciary, to be honest with you, we are correct, yay, because we will be the cat of our docket. As a matter of fact, I am expecting that 85% of my 1,300 cases will be terminated by July. Meaning to say, Dr. Culianes will have to suffer of receiving all my detainees from the BGMP to his kingdom. Now, we know for a fact that his kingdom cannot accommodate. In fact, as a matter of fact, he already wrote me a letter, Judge Adlawan, I will not accept your detainees because overcapacitated. But how can I do that? I can be the subject of administrative complaint. I will not transfer. I don't know if the BGMP Davao City is there. They wrote me a letter requesting me to issue an order not to transfer. And it can program of Dr. Gorganes. Now, meron bang ginawa ang CADAC on the matter of this scenario now being encountered by Dr. Gorganes? Because Dr. Gorganes, whether he will like it or he will like it, I will really have to issue a commitment order so that they will be transferred to his kingdom. So meron bang ginawa ang CADAC on that matter?
You will challenge the community. I'm very happy of this transformative education. It has to be inculcated not only in the students, not only in the reformers, not only to those who will be coming out of the community, but to all of us. The challenge, how do we sustain them that we not drop out in the program? Thank you.
Okay, I can only accommodate one more question.
I am Patrick Arthur,
Yes, sir.
legal researcher of the Regional Trial Court, Transfer, Davao, Judge at Davao. Would like to ask, sir, we understand that courts are supposed to be represented in the Anti-Drug Abuse Council, the court.
Yes.
And I wonder why our court, the Regional Trial Court, Branch 13, an exclusive drugs court, does not have any representation.
Judge Carlos Espero, sir, is sitting as a member of the City Americans Council. Judge Carlos Espero.
I see.
And actually, the last time when I saw Judge Adlawan during that meeting in Monday, if you remember, Judge, we were meeting in the Department of Health. I said that there should be reports of the meeting going to the executive. But I have not, hindi ko pa po na-follow. I'm very sorry, forgive me. I have lapses on my job.
We would like to recommend that courts, just like the Regional Drug Court, Branch 13, because it's also an exclusive drugs court as a representation to CADAC. I think we can share something
I think siguro
for the progress
a letter to the mayor that all the drug courts should be sitting in the council. You know, because Judge Espero has been there for us since they started, since it's been reconstituted early this year, early last year, February last year. So maybe a letter coming from the executive to the mayor to include all the fields members of the City of Manila. Sorry.
Sir, I know you want to ask a question. I believe po, you may approach na po siguro si Mr. Rivera.
This is the question. I would like to hit two birds with one stone. I would like to ask the representative from the CHEC, and if ever Senior Superintendent Amelia is present. In terms of this inmate transformative education, we all know that we are helping inmates to become better persons whenever they are going to be out of the prison. The question right now is that what will be the general guidelines of the CHEC in terms of helping the inmates to become people that are what we call qualified for a certain job? Now, another question for me is that whenever we are going to be applying for a job, employer to employees relationship is that they require police clearance, NBI, records, if ever. Now, if ever I am the employee, obviously, the, what we call this, yung ano na ba, yung per se na I'd rather choose this person na with no criminal records rather than ano, kasi because of the mindset. Now, what will be the stand in terms of the authors in terms of inmate transformative education in helping out? The last question will be, to what extent will be their help to the inmates in terms of finding a brighter future or a greener pasture? Thank you.
All right, Attorney Cariaga will answer your question, sir.
No.
Part of the program is a re-entry program. So during the time that the inmates are students, they go through a recovery program and a rehabilitation program together with their academic classes. So from Monday to Friday, academics, and then Saturdays is the recovery and rehabilitation. And so we're able to observe them and able to recommend them to employers. And once they are released, like for instance, many of them are going to be bargain. We try to connect them with employers who are receptive, who have changed their minds about how we look at the issues. They're human beings after all and capable of changing themselves. So we find a way to for a placement program, job placement program. Like for instance, one inmate is already been released, but just finishing his second semester. That will be employed him as my friend. At the same time, he will be working, studying here.
I think just to make it clear, no, that the response of Attorney Cariaga regarding the question as to, of course, the chances of a reformist get a job, there's still the process of assisting the person. I believe there was a mention of replacement. Okay, so that's part of the program. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Ma'am, one last question, ma'am.
She's actually still in the works. But when we talk with this, they said, and some of the things they do them
Wala na may tinyo.
program for the electricals in the house, or several months program they get to be a lighter. And then hire them.
As much as I want to accommodate all the questions, but we are tied with the time. So, the Attorney Cariaga will speak tomorrow. So, I believe she can give more input regarding, not necessarily about the question, but related to that question. Okay, so, if you wish to personally approach Attorney Cariaga later, I believe that will just be fine. But as of now, I have to cut it short because we still have plenary speakers waiting for this afternoon. Okay, so thank you so much for your questions, and that was actually interesting. That was an interesting interaction from our participants on the floor. Thank you so much. To Mr. Ronald Rivera, the Technical Advisor for Community Organization, City Anti-Drug Abuse Council, for delivering an insightful talk as speaker in the first international conference on inmates' transformative education for successful re-entry. And once again, I would like to request Attorney Cariaga to award the certificate of recognition to Mr. Ronaldo A. Rivera. Sir, thank you so much for giving the talk about CADAC. Thank you po so much, Mr. Ronaldo A. Rivera. Thank you. Or of course, especially these people who are here are interested to really widen out regarding our research conference on transformative education. We still have 3 more before we call it a day, but before we proceed to the next plenary talk, of course, let's break some ice. At this point, once again, we will be entertained by the Youssef Dance Ensemble. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a warm round of applause.